so I'm going from the very start on this to create a form. So let's do this. If I go to Finder, I'm going to pick Jane Doe. It doesn't matter who you pick. I'm just doing that as a point of reference. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new encounter. Stop that. Oh, no, I'll use an existing one. Okay, so what we're going to affect is these drop downs here, because these here, I'm going to show you where these come from. And when I say these drop downs here, there's two places where you can affect these.
Okay.
And when I go to admin and forms, I'm going to show you the forms administration first, because these are hard coded forms. You won't be doing these, but this is one thing that excuse me, can affect those categories, or headers as you call them, because as you see, I got clinical, and then I got injections, and there's administrative. So these are the three headers that questionnaire we're not using because it's disabled at the moment. Ooh, I just re-enabled it by clicking on it. So let me do that back. So if I were to go here, when you look, you can see that injections, clinical, and administrative. If I wanted to, if I had a new hard-coded form, I could make a new category simply by changing the names here. The names automatically generate the categories. Just like this one says orders. So if I were to enable this and then go back here and reload this screen, now you see I have orders there
Oh,
and
yes.
procedure order. So that's one way that it's controlled. But I'm showing you both ways that it's controlled so that you know that they exist. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and disable this back. And then when I go back to here, that should disappear.
Okay.
All right. So there's something called a layout based form. So I'm going to go to admin forms and then layouts. Okay. I'm taking a deep breath because this is where it gets deep here. The layout based forms are part of the demographics is a layout based form. So if you need some guidance, or if you're trying to figure out something, you can go to it, because a lot of the functionality that you would want to build into a form is in the layout based form or in the demographics. Okay.
Okay. So, like, it would be a good reference as
Right.
an
So
example.
when I go here, this here and edit,
Oh,
when I go to edit, this form here is driven by this here. Okay, so I'll show you again. So I'm gonna go here, this, because right here where it says provider,
right.
okay, when I go here,
That's in the
it's
layout editor.
it's the first one here,
Okay.
number 5, because like I can turn this off by simply going, I'm not gonna use it, and if
Okay.
I save this and then go back to here and reload, you see it went away.
Yes.
Okay, so I can bring it back just by, and see I'm not deleting anything, but just to show you some functionality, and we're going to get started on creating one from scratch. Okay.
Can I ask you a question before
Yes,
we
you
do
can.
that?
Please do.
Is it possible to clone an existing?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Very possible. It's built into the system. I can copy pieces and parts from somewhere else to another form. I can copy an entire form from another one. Of course, it's not necessarily a hat trick, but it can be done. All right. So let me go ahead and make sure I put that back so that, okay, that was
You
back.
did.
All right, so we're going to get out of here. And in order to start a new form, I'm going to go reload this. So it says new layout. When you click here, it's going to ask you to fill out this form. Always start a LBF form with an uppercase LBF. Always, always, always. That's the way the system's built. As you can see in my drop down here where I've made some others and you can see their names. It doesn't
Okay.
matter if you use an underscore or not, because like here in this name here, I didn't use an underscore right after the LBF,
Mm-hmm.
but up here I did. It
I
doesn't
like
matter.
your underscore.
Yeah, I think the underscores are easier to read, but also you want to name your form the, of course, the name that it's going to have in the system. So in this case, what are we creating first? You said we have face and we have body. What other form are we going to create?
Let me pull up her list. I want to go to this other. Okay. We're going to create one called PMU, Paul, Mary, Uncle.
Okay, I'm going to put it all uppercase simply because it's just 3 letters. That's just my preference. You can make it
It
lowercase if you
is
want.
all uppercase, actually.
Okay,
Sherwin,
yes.
before we go farther, am I following you then as that? So we have to start at the base
This is the,
and work our way up to that menu label.
yeah,
Is that
that's
correct?
what we're doing now.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I am, yep, following you. Okay.
Okay, so what is the title that will be seen in the program?
PMU.
Okay, so it's still going to be PMU, okay? And you can leave subtitle blank. Right here is a category. So what category is it going to show up on under in the encounter?
That is going to go under skin.
Okay, so across the top, you're going to have clinical, injector, and then skin.
It's going to be across, actually, across, it's going to be, so it's going to be clinical, injections, infusions,
Okay.
sorry, skin therapy. I forgot the word therapy. Skin therapy and then cosmetic injections.
Okay, so this is going to be skin therapy. Did I spell that right?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, it's small. I can't, I mean,
Oh,
THERAPY.
yes.
Yes, you did.
All right. Most of this other stuff you can leave alone for right now. I'll come back to it. This is
Okay.
just to get started. If I go ahead, just click submit from here.
Okay.
It creates this is a blank form. There's absolutely nothing in here at the moment. If I were to
Okay.
go encounter view, it would show me nothing because
Okay.
it's blank. But to show you what you've done so far is that if I go back to the encounter here and refresh it, now there's a title,
Oh,
Skin Therapy and PMU. Okay, and
okay.
if I click on it, there's nothing there because we haven't created a form, the rest of the form yet.
Okay.
How are we doing so far?
We're doing good.
All right. So now you have to decide what's the first header in the form. Okay, so what do I mean by header? If I look at I'm gonna go back to the demographics form. See the who right here?
Mm-hmm.
And then if I scroll down, the next header is contact. So when I go to the dashboard and look, you can see who, contact, choices. So these are the different sections of the form. Who,
Oh,
contact, choices, who, contact, choices. So if I
yes.
click on choices, so this is how I can break up my form, okay, in the different sections that people need to fill out.
Okay.
All right.
So
Oh,
I,
do you have a PMU form that you can show me?
well, I have her handwritten one I can tell
Oh, okay,
we
yeah,
can
we're
work
not
from.
dealing with that. Okay, so
But I mean, I could tell you
okay,
what
so let's do this. Man, can well, yeah, because I can't see it, but oh, you showed it to us in the thing. That was in the Word document that you were showing me, right?
yeah.
Can you post me the Word document?
Yeah. Oh, you want to see that box?
Yes, the Word
That
document. Yeah. Can you
are
give it
you
to me to look at? Because I should be able to work from there. I got an idea.
are you you don't want the handwritten part. You're looking
Yeah,
for
the handwritten part, yes.
the handwritten part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um okay.
Can you post it in the ah? No, they don't let you send the message, so you have to email it to me.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you know. Yeah, you can't attach a document to the
N- No, you're right. I couldn't.
yeah. So you have to email it to me.
Okay.
And then okay, so let's go back to here and on the I'm gonna go back to the PMU. If you notice, there's a section here that says skin therapy, and PMU is under skin therapy.
Yes.
Okay, now we're back in our form, and we need to give it a header, so or a section. So layout property. So I'm gonna go add group,
Okay.
and because we don't know what we're doing just yet,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call the group the same as the form name because we don't know what else we're doing. So I'm gonna save that. We can always change it. Okay. Also, one of the things you want to do in the group properties is go here and tell it initially open group. You want to check that box. Yes, we're recording this so you can go back and see it later. And I'm going
Okay.
to save this. What that's going to do is when I open the form, it will open the section for me rather than I'm having to click a checkbox to open it. There are sometimes you want to leave it collapsed. There are sometimes you want it open. Right now, for this demonstration or this training, we're going to make it open it for us instead of us having to open it with the checkbox. So now
Okay.
we have our header. So if I go back to the encounter and if I were to, am I here? I'm going to refresh this. And okay, still don't see anything because there's nothing there to see yet. I did save it, by the way. And so now we need to decide what we're adding. You emailed it to me, right? There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll see on the right side,
Uh-uh.
skin therapy, PMU was an example. And then under each of these services, the PMU, the microneedling, blah, 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 we need to have a place for device.
I don't have the form. I have a. Let me try this again. I have. Do we need to reschedule? But there's nothing attached to it.
You didn't get that?
No, I. Well, let me try over here.
I sent you just that image out of that Word document.
Okay, let me try it again. Maybe it's in the. Let me do this. Show blocked content. Ah, there it is.
Okay.
All right, so we're under skin therapy. We got service, right?
Right. And
And
we've put in PMU as an example.
Okay.
And so under all these services, under skin therapy, we need to have a place for them to select which device, which product, serum, and treatment area.
Okay, the first one there says service, right?
Yeah, so the first section is the drop down under skin therapy. So where we just did PMU under skin therapy, it's
Okay.
everything below the services that we need to do now. Device, product, serum, treatment area.
Okay.
So,
Devices. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to absorb. So you got devices is what you want to put under here. So
yes.
and devices is a drop down menu of DR pin or Dr. pin.
Yeah.
Okay. And it says syringe and tattoo
Tattoo.
pin.
Yes.
Okay. So let's do this. We need to create a list. And you're going to be doing a lot of this over and over again, creating lists. So we're going to go to forms, lists. To make sense of this, you need to manage how you're creating your list so you can go find them. So I'm going to go to the list and then I'm going to click on new list. So how I got there is by going to admin, forms, list. That
Yes.
brings me here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to new list.
Okay.
And this list has to do with skin therapy. Okay. So I'm gonna call it skin device. Naming convention is up to you, but all my lists for this, I'm gonna start them with the word skin, just so
I'm
that it
following
groups
you.
them all together.
I'm following you. I'll have
Okay.
skin device, skin product, skin serum, and skin treatment area. I'm with
Right.
you.
You can
Okay.
come up with your own naming scheme or convention to help you group them together. Just make them easier to find later on. All right.
No, I appreciate the guidance. This is good. It's all good.
Now when you open the list, it's always going to have 3 boxes there. Okay. It is not limited to the 3 boxes that you see. It will always, when you fill out these 3, it will create 3 more
Okay.
just automatically. So here we only have 3 things to put on here, but let's see. Now titles, IDs have to be unique. Okay. So I'm just gonna
Unique within the list or
or
unique
unique
within
within the
the system?
system, the
Within the
entire
system.
system. Yes. Okay. Because
Oh, I hear absolute cuteness. Who is that?
my granddaughter, she is 18 months old.
I have 4 grandkids myself.
Uh,
My youngest one's 2.5. My oldest one's 12. I couldn't help but hear that.
oh yeah, she's loud.
I am a grandmother tuned in. Okay, so unique within the system. Okay.
It's not hard to do. It's something you should just be semi-conscious about when you're creating lists and creating a lot of things within the system. And these things need to be unique. And the best way to make them unique is use the title as the ID or some form or shape. That way, the titles will be unique across everything that you put in, because some titles you won't be using over and over again. But that's also why you're creating lists, because sometimes these lists you will use over and over again in different
Right.
parts of the system. So it just kind of depends.
Right.
Let's see. The next was syringe. This way. And we'll get to the last over in just a minute. And tattoo pen. No, okay. You spelled it with 1.
Well, she did. She wrote this. I mean, I'd like to think that the master is correct, so I'm doing
No,
everything she gives me,
it is
literally.
not. It underlined it saying, no, that's not right. So it's two T's. So, all right, the
Let's fix it
order.
for her then.
The order is the order that you want them to show up on the screen, so you can actually reorder your list. It doesn't. It will. The system will put them in either by number or display them by number or by alphabetically. Okay. If you had nothing in the order list, then it would order the list alphabetically. But again, because we can order lists, I'm going to just put them in as we have them: 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
All right, so that should take care of this list for us. I'm going to say save. As you see, it created 3 more. Even if I only filled out 1, then it would create 1 more because it's always going to have 3 at the bottom that are empty.
Okay.
All right, so that takes care of that. Now we need to go back to our form to utilize that list that we put in here. So we're going to go back to layouts. We're going to go here, here. And on this thing, we're going to add a field, and we're going to call it devices. One of the things about when you're filling out this, okay, let me start over because I do want you to see what I did. I'm just going to reload this. All right.
Sorry, I was just making a note about my hierarchy of data entry.
No problem.
Because now that we're through this, I see the value in create my lists and then go create my services.
Mm-hmm.
And then that gets tied to my header.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back PMU. I've already created the blah, blah, blah. Let's try that again. Group. So this is the grouping. Now, sometimes you don't need more than one group, okay? So don't think you need to create a group for everything. You just need the first group, all right? And then we're going to add a field. And we're going to call this field devices. Now, when you fill out the label, the system will automatically fill out the ID for you. So that's another way for the system to assist you in keeping IDs unique. So I'm going to fill out devices here, and then I'm just going to click on the data type box. And if you notice, it filled out the ID for me.
Okay. We're just going to put ID auto.
Okay. Now, you said this is going to be a drop-down box, so they're going to be selecting one of the items. They're not going to be selecting all of them. Now, you can choose checkboxes, you can choose radio buttons, or you can choose a drop-down list, okay, as your data type. So if I choose checkboxes, I'm just going to run through them all because I want you to see them. And then you can come back later. It'll help you when you're visualizing what your form is going to look like. That's so the height and width, width for general purposes. The list, okay, since we're creating a checkboxes, this determines if the list is going to be one on top of the other or spread out left to right. But this actually does 2 or 3 different things depending on the data type that you choose. This is where it gets complicated, okay? Because I want them straight up and down for right now, I'm going to put 1 here.
Okay.
Height doesn't really matter when you're choosing a checkbox, okay? But for general purpose, I'm going to put 5 here.
Okay.
And max size tells the system how big to make the column data in the database. So that tells it how much stuff you're going to store. Okay. So none of the words are over 15 characters. So I'm going to choose 15 just to keep my database size small. I can put it 0 and tell it unlimited, but then that kind of messes with my database. So these are just little things to consider, but not going to break anything whether you do it one way or the other, okay?
So if I were to have in my head max size, it is field length.
Yes, field length is the correct term.
Okay. I can relate to that.
All right. Now, lists is where we're going to tell it what list to use. When I click on this, it's going to bring up and this is where you're going to see why we call it skin. So when I type that in, it'll show me the list that I'm looking for. Now you have one here, the skin history. You didn't do that one, but the skin device we did do. So I'm going to select that. And then the column label, right now I'm just going to tell you, always make that 2. And I'll show you in a minute why I'm going to say make that 2. And the data column, right now for this, I'm going to make it 3, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm ready to save my field now.
Okay.
Okay, now it looks like what you saw in the demographics.
Yeah.
If I click on here now, edit preview, preview, encounter preview, this is what it's going to look like when somebody looks at it in the program. Now, the only consideration here is that if it's checkboxes, well, guess what? They can check more than one.
Okay.
So that's probably not what you want. Or do you?
I'm sure it's probably not, but
Well, hang on.
we can figure that out later.
Hold on. But see, that's why I wanted to show you all the data types and how they work. So I'm going to go
Yeah.
down and choose radio. Radio buttons mean that they can only choose one. So I'm going to save that. And this is also how you can work out what your form looks like. So
Yeah.
as you see, now this radio, I can only choose one of these. I can't choose more than one.
Ah.
But also if I change this to list box is the same as drop down. So if I choose list box and save that. Yes.
She says she wants a drop down,
Okay.
but I see value in the radio button personally. It's one less. It's 2 less clicks.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because if it's a drop down, you don't know what the choices are until you click the drop down. And then, of course, unless you've been in the form before, then it's a click here, then click here. Versus if it's radio buttons, click, you're done.
Yeah. I mean, I might take a teeny bit of creative leeway here since you showed it to me. Because if I'm the user, if I don't have to go to another drop down, I don't want to. I want to just visibly see what my choices are and pick it.
Okay, so let's leave that at radio button. And I'm going to save that. And then now comes up, bam, there it is.
There you go.
Okay, now I'm going to show you how the system behaves if I were to make this here size. I'm going to change it to 5 just because I like a number. So it's just a number. It doesn't really, it tells you something, but I'm trying to keep myself from explaining. Always save in between. So I save that and let me make sure. Yes, okay. Now, see it goes left to right rather than up and down. So if you put 1 in there, it'll go up and down. If you put any number greater than 1 in there, it'll go left to right depending on the size of the number that you put in there. Also, you can determine how this wraps around. Because say you have a list that's 20 items long. Up and down may not be the best thing for it. If you put it 5 columns wide, then what it's going to do is do the math and then spread them out left to right and up and down.
Okay. Okay. So if I did 2 right there, it's going to bring them closer together.
Yes.
It'll go left to right.
Yes, it'll bring them closer together until, because again, it's doing math as to determine how much space do I have, how many items can I put across before I have to wrap and go down.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So that's the first one. And so the next one is divide or product.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the same process over again. So
Okay.
after a while, you get really good at this because it's just the same loop of process over and over. And yes, if you can create all your lists first, that
Yeah.
would be beneficial. But I do mine either way because sometimes, uh, not so much as I'm lazy, it's just that I'm proficient enough that I can just do my list as I go down the form. Or other times I'll sit down and plug in all of my lists and then come back and build the form after I've plugged in all my lists. It's just up to you.
Yeah.
Whichever.
And I'm thinking here, excuse me, it may be to my benefit to, well, you've just created the, um, one list for me, but create these lists and then go finish off all the services under skin therapy. Then come to the next one, create that list. Because, microneedling, PMU, dermaplaning, mesotherapy, they all share device, product, serum, treatment
See?
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm with you on that. You're right. It will depend.
Uh, is that BB or B8?
I think it's BB, and
Okay.
if I'm wrong, she can correct me. I
Well,
mean,
you can always come back and change it. All right. Yep.
yeah.
And then DC.
I mean, I'm gonna struggle with this like you are, right? I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
someone else's handwriting and it's small and
CRONIC.
she said, "Oh, I'll map this out for you. I know this like the back of my hand." Well,
Yeah.
I didn't expect this.
Okay, so now because I'm gonna spend a little less time explaining, but just jumping through it
Yeah.
and go back to layouts here. Add field. And we're gonna go with radial. There we go. I'm gonna save that as 5 and then let's do 15, max size 15. Oh, sorry, that's just habit. In this case, let's see. Skin product. After a week or so of doing this, you'll blaze through it. Oh, no, let's go ahead and make this 2 and 3 and save. And then go take a look at it. Okay, so we got devices, product, all right. And you want serum, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do.
I can do the rest of this one if you want.
Okay, sure, I can stop.
Well, it's because I have other questions.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a recap.
Yes.
I'm gonna because of the way this has come in, I'm gonna do my order entry at my bottom. I'm gonna work bottom to top
Mm-hmm.
because I can't have. And do you call that a header row, menu bar? What do you call it when you're on the
It's technically a category.
a category? Okay. But like so even administrative and clinical, those are considered
These are all
categories.
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 The way they're listed in the system, they're listed as categories.
Categories. Okay. So I'm because I can't create my category until I create my form.
That is correct.
Okay. So I'm gonna do my list and then associate them with each service under that category.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's whichever way you organize it.
Yeah. My services are
the same thing.
okay. I think we're good on that. So today on the injections, So I have been given the order she wants those on
Mm-hmm.
the categories listed. So like I have to make sure that injections is first, infusions is second, cosmetic injections is third, and skin therapy is fourth.
Okay.
So
All right. So here, there's a caveat to that because this is, if you're probably paying attention, you notice that this is in alphabetical order.
okay.
If you want this in a specific order, you're going to need to use numbers. What do I mean by that? All right. So,
You said if I didn't designate one, it's going to automatically do alpha.
well, that was for something else.
No, we were in a different section.
Yep. So many rules to keep up with.
That's okay. You know what? If it gets there, alpha's where it's at. Give me a break.
Okay.
You know?
So,
I mean, she's like, because we do most of these. It was like in the order of the frequency. If you can see it, you can click it.
there you go.
Okay.
Tell you what, get it in there
All right.
first, and then we'll worry about the order of the categories across here afterward. Okay.
Later. Yeah. Okay, but that's a good mental for me to address because when it comes up, I don't want her to think I didn't hear her.
Right.
So in the injections today, we have the avatar. She calls it an avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it took me a second to figure out what she was talking about. I said, "Oh, the body, the image of the body." She said, "Yes, the avatar." I said, "Okay." Um, she wants for each of the categories,
Yeah.
either the face or the body to be present. So it feels like I have to put either that face or body that's currently under injection
Mm-hmm.
in this layout
Okay.
on the left.
Okay.
And if we can't mess with that right now, that's fine.
Well, let's see. Data type is. Oh, I got taken out. Okay.
And I didn't know if what's in there right today under injections, I didn't know if those were images.
Yes, they are.
Or, okay.
All right. So I'm gonna. Oh, there it is. Image.
I was gonna say there. Yep, image canvas. Is that it?
Right. Yeah. We're gonna have to figure out how that thing works. Okay. But see, the thing is, are they going to be clicking on it to like they do in the injections, or?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's deal with that. So size is. Let's make a square. Max size. Let's put that there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is